Did Christians steal Christmas Day from the pagans? This is a discussion that comes up every year. One group of people will say that Christians have taken Christmas Day, the 25th of December, from paganism. And then another group will say, but that's fine because Christianity baptizes these traditions and brings them into the church, and we took Christmas Day and made it Christian. Both of these groups are about to have a history lesson. Now look, both of these two groups have a point. Yes, Christianity has taken things from pre-Christian religions and brought them into the church. Yes, we have baptized traditions and sinners and patterns and symbols into the Christian faith, and this is a beautiful thing. The point is, Christmas Day is not one of them. Christmas Day is not pagan. This is a myth. We did not take it from paganism. We did not adapt it from somewhere else. Christmas Day is something that we did all on our own. So first we're going to look at why Christmas could not have come from paganism, and then we're going to look at what actually happened and why we chose the 25th of December. But before we do those two things, a couple of words on the date. Every Christian country except for one celebrates Christmas on the 25th of December, and you might have heard that Russia, Ukraine, Serbia, Egypt and several other countries celebrate Christmas on the 7th of January. This is not actually true. What they are doing is celebrating Christmas on the original 25th of December on an old calendar. In the 16th century, the Catholic Church updated the calendar and there was a 13-day gap. And the modern calendar that we all are used to is 13 days ahead of the one that existed before. Many Christian communities around the world have chosen to maintain Christian festivals on the original dates that the church has used for the majority of our history. So, when you hear of a country or a person or a friend celebrating Christmas on the 7th of January, what they're actually doing is celebrating it on the old 25th of December. The one country that doesn't celebrate it on the 25th of December is Armenia. In Armenia, Christmas is celebrated on the 6th of January. Now that is actually an older Christmas tradition. Even though the 25th of December was associated with Christ's birth since the early 3rd century, Christmas Day wasn't used for Christmas until sometime in the 4th. And up until then, Christmas Day and Christmas celebrations had been put together with an older Christian festival on the 6th of January, which is Theophany or Epiphany, the day of Christ's baptism. It is still one of the biggest events in the church, and every year draws thousands of people to celebrate it at wells, at rivers, at lakes, and in churches across the planet. Theophany is a visible manifestation of God. That's what the word means. Christmas can be seen as a visible manifestation of God, so it was added as part of that event. And in the 4th century, most Christians moved it to its unique day as a big church celebration in December. But Armenia has retained this much older tradition of putting it together with Theophany. Now, the Christmas celebration was not moved to December to replace, supplant, or steal a pre-Christian festival. This does not make sense. Many people who suggest this simply don't have the right view of how religion functions. We have this idea that Christianity came in and replaced paganism, but we forget that no religion before Christianity ever had such a global reach that Christianity had, because there was no one paganism for Christianity to replace. And sure, across the Mediterranean there was the same pantheon of Greek or Roman gods with overlaps between them, but different cities and different countries and different peoples had different gods to focus on. You had a city dedicated to Diana, you had a city dedicated to Jupiter, and the festivals that they marked were different, so there was no one festival that could be replaced by one that was going to encompass everything from Scandinavia through to North Africa. Which is why when people say that Christmas replaced a pagan festival, they often suggest a different pagan festival each time, because it's the one that their historical culture is most associated with. So in Western Europe, for instance, the festival you'll hear mentioned as the one Christianity replaced is the winter solstice, but this doesn't work, because the winter solstice is several days ahead of Christmas and is a moving festival. And also, while the winter solstice is a massive deal in Western Europe and in pagan history there, it wasn't the same value in the Middle East and North Africa, where so many Christians that adopted Christmas were living. Another festival that people claim is replaced by Christianity is Saturnalia. But Saturnalia was a week-long event celebrating the god Saturn and ended on the 23rd of December. It would be very strange to replace a week festival with a day festival that happens later. Another festival that is often cited as being one that Christianity replaced with Christmas is Sol Invictus. Now, Sol Invictus is the birthday of the sun, and this is a pagan festival that is recorded historically as having been celebrated on the 25th of December. Here's the interesting moment though. It isn't recorded as being celebrated on that day until after Christians have established that date as the birth of Jesus Christ. It is happening the opposite way around. It isn't a Christian event replacing a pagan one, it is pagans moving a festival on top of a Christian one. And when you know that, it makes sense. Sol Invictus, the birthday of the sun, historically up until that point, it had been celebrated in July, which is the height of summer. When you're celebrating the sun, it makes way more sense than celebrating in December, when half the people celebrating it are going to be looking up wondering, where is the sunshine? It's winter right now. So Sol Invictus is not the origin of Christmas. Now, why then did Christians pick the 25th of December as the day that we celebrate the birth of Christ? The answer is it comes from older Christian festivals and older Christian traditions than the celebration of Christmas Day. One of the dates held by many early Christians as being the actual date that Jesus died on the cross was the 25th of March. Now, Jesus' death on the cross is a movable event in the church. We remember it every year on Good Friday. But the 25th of March would have extra meaning and symbolism, and that is that the early church understood the value of rhythms and symbols and patterns. They believed that if Jesus died on the 25th of March, then it was appropriate that he came to earth on the 25th of March. The 25th of March is one of Christianity's oldest festivals. It is Annunciation Day, the day that Gabriel comes to a young woman and says that she will give birth to Jesus Christ. It is a universe-shattering moment. Christ is conceived in her womb, and it is one of the biggest festivals of the Christian church. Perfect God and perfect man. It follows that it will be a perfect pregnancy. 25th of March is Annunciation Day, and 9 months later to the day is the 25th of December, Christmas Day. And that is why we celebrate Christmas Day when we celebrate Christmas Day. Christmas Day is not just one event, it is part of a massive calendar of events, and we need to know our history and our culture and our Christian calendar so we can fully appreciate what it is to be a Christian, not just in December 25th, but on every day of the year. This is the day where God Almighty, Christ our God, came to earth as a baby boy. He was born for us. So, Merry Christmas for the 25th of December. Christ is born, and we glorify Him. So, thank you very much for watching. This is a subject that I'm a big fan of. Christmas just isn't pagan. The myth is dying down a bit over the last few years as there is more history available on the internet, but it's still out there, so share this video around and tell more people about it. In terms of tea, I'm drinking a very Christmassy feeling blend of cinnamon and orange tea. As a brief aside for Lord of the Rings fans, the 25th of March is the day that the One Ring is destroyed and evil is defeated. This is not a coincidence. Tolkien knew exactly what he was doing when he wrote that in. It is one of the most overt moments of Christian symbolism in the books. A few people have asked about the mug. Yes, you can get it, and there is a link in the description where you can find this. Cheers.